What if I told you a famous football star, a double homicide, a crazy car chase, and a courtroom drama unlike any other had the entire world glued to their TVs? Hey, Millionaires and Billionaires Playground fam. That's the story of O.J. Simpson. Today we're diving deep into this wild case. We'll break down the murders, the chase that had millions watching, the shocking verdict, and the lasting impact it all had, not just on celebrities but on race, justice, and the media itself. Buckle up because this one's a roller coaster. O.J. Simpson, a famous football star, was accused of a terrible crime, killing his ex-wife Nicole and her friend Ron. The trial lasted almost a year, a super long court case. Prosecutors, the people trying to prove O.J. did it, had evidence, but O.J. said he was innocent. Here's what made it even crazier. Many jurors, the people deciding the case, were African Americans. They weren't happy with the police because of past problems. In the end, the jury didn't believe the prosecution and said O.J. wasn't guilty. This trial was huge news everywhere, sparking debates about race, how fair the justice system is, and how celebrities are treated. It's called the trial of the century because everyone was watching. Things got intense after police found a bloody glove at O.J.'s place and they charged him with murder. O.J. did not show up for his arrest, so a crazy car chase with him in a white SUV happened on live TV. Millions watched. To fight the charges, O.J. hired a team of superstar lawyers nicknamed the Dream Team. These weren't your average attorneys. We're talking big names like Johnny Cochran and Robert Kardashian. The team even had specialists who knew all about DNA evidence, a relatively new science back then. This trial was going to be a huge fight. The prosecutors thought they had a slam-dunk case against O.J. with all their evidence, but O.J.'s Dream Team lawyers had a different plan. They argued that the blood tests, DNA, were messed up by the police. They said the cops did a bad job collecting evidence, maybe even because of racial bias. One detective even said some racist things. This was a confusing part of the trial because DNA evidence was new back then. Jurors, the people deciding the case, had a tough time understanding if the tests were reliable or not. O.J.'s lawyers planted a seed of doubt, making it seem like maybe the evidence wasn't strong enough to convict him. Black and white people had very different opinions. Polls showed most black people thought O.J. was innocent, while most white people thought the jury didn't follow the evidence because of race. Even years later, the jurors who said not guilty stuck by the decision except for one. O.J. might have gotten away with murder in court, but the victim's family wasn't done. They sued O.J. in a separate civil trial and won. A civil trial is different. It doesn't put someone in jail, but it can make them pay money. The family was awarded a ton of money, but O.J. never paid them most of it. To avoid paying, he even moved to a state with different laws. This case showed how race, money, and the law can create a tangled mess. O.J. and Nicole's relationship. O.J. and Nicole's relationship wasn't all sunshine and rainbows. They met when Nicole was young and O.J. was already married. Even after they got married and had 3 children, things were imperfect. There were reports of arguments and controlling behavior by O.J. Nicole even signed an agreement that limited her work options. This kind of situation, where there's power imbalance and controlling behavior, is sadly a hallmark of domestic abuse. Nicole documented over 60 incidents of abuse where O.J. would control her, yell at her, and even physically hurt her. She even went to the hospital pretending to fall off a bike to protect him from getting arrested. The abuse continued even after the divorce. O.J. would stalk Nicole, spy on her, and threaten to kill her if she moved on. Fearing for her life, Nicole even wrote a will and considered going to a women's shelter. Just before the murders, O.J. filmed a pilot for a TV show called Frogman. He played an ex-Navy SEAL who was good at killing people quietly at night. Interestingly, the character wore a beanie similar to the one found at the crime scene. The police found a tape of the show at O.J.'s house and wanted to use it as evidence. O.J.'s lawyers argued against it and the judge agreed. But here's the twist. The prosecution never even showed the tape in court. So this weird coincidence with the show never really became a part of the trial itself. On June 12, 1994, things unfolded tragically. Nicole and O.J. both attended their daughter's dance recital but didn't spend time together afterward. Nicole went to dinner with her family and a friend, Ron Goldman, who was a waiter at a restaurant. After dinner, Nicole and her family returned home. Meanwhile, O.J. grabbed takeout with a friend staying at his guest house. There were rumors that O.J. might have been on drugs that night, but that hasn't been proven. The key detail here is that Ron Goldman left the restaurant with Nicole's mom's glasses, planning to drop them off at her condo later that night. This seemingly ordinary errand would lead to a horrific discovery. Neighbors heard a dog barking around 10:15 p.m. Later, a dog walker found Nicole's dog, an Akita, with bloody legs. The dog led the walker back to Nicole's house, where they discovered her body outside. The house door was open, but there were no signs of forced entry. Nicole's body was at the bottom of the stairs, face down and barefoot. The bloody walkway and clean soles of her feet suggested she was attacked first. Multiple stab wounds were on her head and neck, with few signs of her fighting back. A large bruise on her back with a footprint indicated the attacker came back to Nicole after killing someone else. They stood on her back, pulled her hair back, and cut her throat so deeply that it almost severed her head. Ronald's body was found near a tree, stabbed multiple times. Similar to Nicole, there weren't many signs he fought back. Investigators believe the attacker used one hand to stab him while holding him with the other. Some key evidence was found near Ronald: a blue hat, a left-handed glove, and the glasses he was returning. This, along with the bloody footprints leading away from the scene, suggests Ronald arrived while Nicole was being attacked. The killer likely killed Ronald to silence him as a witness. The bloody footprints show the attacker walked, not ran away from the crime scene. There were also drops of blood suggesting the attacker was injured on the left hand. After Nicole Brown Simpson and Ron Goldman were found murdered, LAPD detectives went to O.J. Simpson's home to notify him and take him to pick up his children. They found blood on Simpson's car and a bloody glove on his property, leading to a warrant for his arrest. Simpson was in Chicago at the time and was contacted by the police, where he seemed upset but not overly concerned about the murders. He returned to Los Angeles, gave a blood sample, and was released. Simpson hired a lawyer and was supposed to surrender, but instead he fled with his friend Al Cowlings. The police declared him a fugitive, sparking a famous slow-speed chase on the Los Angeles freeways. Simpson eventually surrendered to the police. On the day he was supposed to surrender, O.J. Simpson's lawyer, Robert Kardashian, read a letter from Simpson that many saw as a suicide note. In the letter, Simpson denied involvement in the murders, expressed regret over his relationship with Nicole Brown Simpson, and apologized to the Goldman family. He also mentioned his breakup with his girlfriend Paula Barbieri and said goodbye. The trial of O.J. Simpson began on January 24, 1995, with Judge Lance Ito presiding. The jury selection process was challenging, with the trial held in downtown Los Angeles instead of Santa Monica due to safety concerns after an earthquake. The jury pool was less educated and had more African Americans. 12 jurors were selected, but over the course of the trial, several were dismissed. The final jury had 10 women and 2 men, with 9 jurors being black, 2 white, and 1 Hispanic. The trial was televised and watched by millions, leading to various controversies and incidents, including juror revolts and allegations of racial tension among jurors. The O.J. Simpson trial exposed a big racial divide in America. Many black people believed he was innocent, while many white people believed he was guilty. This led to changes in laws about race in California, like ending affirmative action. Even today, these issues are still being debated. That was a complex case. What are your thoughts? Hit that thumbs up if you found it interesting, leave a comment below to share your theories, and subscribe for more luxury dives.